final. So a serious hard carry here. Some late game security for Team Random. Not a hero that we've seen yet. We've talked about her a little bit, but haven't seen her actually picked up. Interesting. I think we've mostly talked about her in combination with Magnus, Medusa plus Empower. So it's a standalone Dusa.
I actually think it's okay. If you look at, OG's lineup, they don't have a tremendous amount of burst damage. Pretty much where it comes from is like, okay, a puck initiation and then maybe TA jumps you. And that's like the quote-unquote burst that they're bringing to the table. They also have no form of mana burn, which is great against Medusa in any way, like anti-mage, lion mana drain, diffusal, manta,
Couldn't
whatever.
Naga get a diffusal?
You can, but it's become less prevalent. Like, most of the time, you just want to rush for your split pushing items. You want to get your Octarine as soon as possible. And then you just want to make your illusions tanky. Because you don't really care about fighting with the hero that much. It's more just about making sure that your illusions get the most effectiveness by split pushing that they feasibly can. And I think that with the Legion and the Lion already, and having Medusa on top of that, they'll have a pretty good amount of wave clear and things to deal with the illusions in general. So the Medusa is kind of nice to be like that late game siege hero, where as before, the only person that was really going to be hitting towers was the Legion. So they obviously needed a right clicker.
Yeah.
And that's part of the big reason why in I think it was the second ban phase for OG, they took out the SF, because they just know, okay, this team needs a mid that can actually hit buildings. And Medusa was one of the best choices left available, I think.
I also like the supporting cast that they have around the Medusa. You've got potential swaps from the Vengeful Spirit, heals from the Warlock, stuns from the Warlock. Lion has a lot of disables. LC has pressed the attack. They have a lot of ways to stick this Medusa in the front line and then keep her safe if things don't go according to plan. Very important. Dusa not really known for her mobility. So, all right, let's take a look at some of these. And I think in the last game, I actually got all of my predictions wrong, Draskell. It's hard to do that.
I mean, someone's got to be talented enough to do it, Zyora. You're just that person. You just got to get in there and show everyone, because if you're anything like the far right side of the panel, which is on the first day, I think it was wrong 100% of the time or something crazy like that, you're just giving people free predictions because they just do the opposite of what you do.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Total number of player deaths at game end. So that's basically how many kills plus denies to neutrals. God, I don't know. It's a hard one.
I would say a number greater than 0.
Wow, that's a bold claim there, Draskell.
Sorry, I purged that one, didn't I? I just completely went like middle of the field.
I would take any non-zero number. Wow, touche, salesman. All right.
Listen, sometimes you gotta play it safe.
Fair enough, man. So it looks like no trickery. Both teams got some initial wards down that just went back for their bounty runes. Dire, they'll ward up the enemy shrine, as well as get ward down here in the mid. Radiant, they'll also drop a lane ward mid, and they'll take some vision down bottom of this rune spawn and kind of entryway into the Radiant jungle. So neither side have any sentry action going on, so we'll have normal full vision to get things started as everybody heads to the lanes. TA versus Medusa mid. Safe lane try for OG, and it looks like a 2-1-2 coming out of Team Random, at least to start. Faith Beyond here on the Legion Commander will be supported by the Lion, who charges forward. And that means down bottom it'll be a 2-on-1 favoring Team Random here with S4 in the solo off lane against the farming bench.
It's actually a bit rough, I think, for Puck in this off lane. Like, a lot of the time when you're playing against a support, you can phase shift the majority of the right-click damage, thus making the trade favorable for you. But Shadow Word does an insane amount of damage at level 1. It's 15 damage a second for 12 seconds. So no matter what, you're just not going to be winning that trade.
Yep. Also a really annoying hero against Puck because damage over time is amazing against phase shift. Puck really has no way to stop that slow sustained damage even once he levels up a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to struggle for sure.
I mean, one of the drawbacks of Puck is you can't really retreat to the jungle. We were talking about Magnus in that first series. Part of his power is just grabbing the Iron Talon and being able to find that recovery farm. What does Puck do in this kind of situation where the lane is this brutal? I mean, he's almost going to die here. He's going to have to pop the Shrine and the Fairy Fire.
I mean, you really can only do what he's doing right now. You try to play it as aggressively as possible. make it so that Ice has to commit all of his time to just you. He's not allowed to stack pull. He's not allowed to do anything else. Faith Beyond, though.
Yeah, up top.
On here.
No Tail connects with the ensnare, but overwhelming odds. There's a lot of return damage to Jerax, and OG will kind of back out. No Tail presses forward, gets a little bit of extra damage in, but takes some in return as he just heads back to farming.
Well, I guess... Wait a minute, he didn't go back and get his own bounty rune? Oh, he got the other one, okay. So, they trade bounty runes, basically. The support from Team Random, and then S4 getting the other one.
Yeah.
But he's actually able to get his own pull-off, realizes that Ice isn't in the lane. This kind of stuff is a really big deal as offlane. Oh no, he lost vision.
Wow.
Because Ice was walking over with the double damage. That actually sucks.
Yeah,
if he had gotten the pull, that's like a full creep wave for him. And that's a really big deal. Gets him like almost to level 4, probably.
Yeah. Thought for a second there the Warlock might be able to find a rotation with the double damage, but just heads right back to lane. Medusa forced to pop the Shrine in the mid. Looks like TA having a pretty good time here in this matchup. Relatively even in last hits, but Anna with quite a few more denies.
Yeah, Refraction is really hard for Medusa to deal with. You don't have any way of really contesting the last hit, so I guess what you want to probably do if you're Shadow is just try to bounce the Mystic Snake, because TA is not a full-fledged ranged hero, so you should be able to drain mana at the very least, but looks like there's going to be a little bit of bottle crowing here, just to make sure that he's able to continually just pop Refraction on cooldown, and make sure that he's not getting harassed too much by the snake.
Also curious what build the Medusa goes for here. Usually with mid Medusa, you see something a little bit more high tempo. You know, like Phase Boots Yasha comes to mind. Mix a Dragon Lance in there. But you definitely want items that can allow you to fight early. You know, utilize that ultimate TP into towers if OG gets a little bit aggressive. Any thoughts about what Shadow might build?
I wouldn't actually be surprised if he goes Midas this game. Just because, you know, they have Warlock teamfight. They have Faith Beyond on Legion Commander as well. Normally this hero gets, you know, a pretty good amount even in the hardest situation, but I mean, it really depends on what they want to do. Do they want to actually try to fight around every chaotic offering and take towers, or are they okay like waiting a little bit for Shadow to get some farm? Because, you know, at this phase, the longer it goes in mid, the harder it's going to get for the Medusa. Because the more points in Refraction, the less likely it is that he's going to be able to CS.
And so far, basically no rotations mid. It's just been a straight up 1v1 match. S4 down bottom. That's the first blood.
Later.
Yep, caught that one. Ice gets it with that DOT damage. Compliments of Shadow Word. So, to compliment what you were saying before, S4 trying to stay aggressive, get some experience, but will occasionally get caught in situations like that.
It's one of those trade-offs that I think a lot of offlaners kind of struggle with as Jerax. Speaking of picking off an offlaner.
Yep, Faith Beyond very low. Jerax with the Primal Spring. Does he actually find it here? He needs one more auto attack, and he gets it.
You got the Orb of Venom, man. That 5
damage
what that was?
a second.
Yeah, Orb of
Okay,
Venom
I
kill.
didn't see the auto attack. Yeah, good call. You're right, it was the Orb. The Oov kill. Style points.
And he gets the Ursa. That's like the absolute dream.
That is a happy Monkey King.
I think in a way, it might actually be better for OG that, you know, Faith Beyond is suffering so much. Because if you look at him right now, he's only level 2. S4 is level 4. Like, he's got boots, he's got a raindrop, and a TP, which doesn't sound like a lot, but, you know, you compare that to what Faith Beyond is rocking right now, and his inventory looks a little sad, too. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, Jerax committing all his time, just walking to the woods, like, following Faith Beyond around, soaking his EXP, stopping him from becoming that menace that we've seen so many times already within, like, the first few days of the group stage. This is, like, the counterplay. And now there's a hasted TA running at him, so he's probably dead again.
It looks like it. Here's the wraparound. Primal Spring connects. He's slowed into all oblivion. And there's just nothing he can do. No way to survive. Jerax will take credit for that kill. The Boundless Strike finds the last hit. But a worthy rotation for the TA. And with the haste, she'll be able to make it right back into lane.
I'm surprised he didn't kill the baby golems, actually. He saw them there. And he had the Jingu Mastery. Or Jingu Mastery. I guess he maybe wanted to see if he could go on mid, too.
Oh.
Wait. Oh, okay, never mind. There was a sentry. I was like, did he just place it in tower range? And then I was like...
I had the same exact thought. Not quite. Dusa maintaining some vision control there in the mid lane. We haven't talked about the Vengeful Spirit too much. She's been pretty quiet, just farming away in the bottom lane, but leading net worth right now, I think also the CS leader. Well, about on par with the Naga. Phase boots up. Normal, solid start for the Vengeful Spirit. Pretty much been left alone, and they may start to try and pressure this tower. I shouldn't say left alone, but more like S4 just can't do anything to stop him from farming.
I mean, all things considered, I'd say most heroes probably wouldn't get that much out of this lane. I'd say Puck is maybe one of the few who can actually do something about it.
Yeah.
We can see here, Fatal Bonds just actually bringing him almost a half HP on their own. And they have the rotation from Y coming in as well.
Yeah, rotation bottom on the Puck, and it looks like OG want to try to rotate mid on the Dusa. Fly was lingering in the tree line on the Disruptor. Didn't quite find the opening. Now Lion dives way past the tier 1. Drops the stun, follow-up Hex, and S4 will take yet another tumble as they find the magic missile. Random in a little bit deep, but no way that OG can come and punish this. They'll just have to let him walk out. Nice kill.
It was a really nice movement, yeah. As soon as they saw him orb to pull the creeps off the tower, they pretty much just went in. They're like, yep, it's our time, you don't have an escape anymore. He just beelines it for the most obvious path that the Puck can take to get to safety. I guess in that scenario, probably would have been safer to auto-attack, because they're going to get Fly, too. It's just standing in front of the tower.
Yeah. Unexpected. Kind of a freebie. All right, Medusa hanging in there. Very even with the TA. I mean, they're within like 5 GPM of each other at this point. So this mid lane, a complete wash. And no tail up top. Just farming away towards the Radiance. Arcane boots up, and now the quest for the relic begins. So probably will continue to be a relatively quiet game for the next couple minutes here as both teams get towards their core items. LC, still not level 6, just now hits 5, but still needs more time before that precious duel becomes available.
Yeah, Faith Beyond's struggling here big time. It's kind of unfortunate, too, for Team Random that he's the one who's kind of biting the bullet here because, you know, during the mid-game, Legion can offer you so much in terms of pick-off potential and, like, net pressure. But because of the fact that he's kind of been shut down this hard, his blink is going to be super late. It's already 9 minutes in, and he's only got 100 gold after his phase boots. So, yeah, all things considered, that's just more time for No Tail and Ana and S4 to feel, you know, pretty safe doing whatever they want to do as long as, you know, they're not sitting in the offlane, I guess. Yeah, S4 might struggle a bit still. But respectively, it's like S4 will be able to contribute more without a blink than Faith Beyond will.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, just having an AoE silence alone gives Puck a lot of utility. So back to farming we go. Jerax now is rotated mid to soak a little bit of XP while Ana kills the big stack. This was a triple stack here. So that'll give him a nice little chunk of change, secure the power treads.
Team Random really want to try to do something top. Like, that is a very squishy Disruptor. Faith Beyond maybe hit 6, and then they could potentially go for something.
They're certainly thinking about it. As Monkey King also lingering Jerax with phase boots now. He's really had a very effective early game.
Well, he camped that poor Legion commander. Like, he just freaking sat there. And he's like, yep, you're not going to get any creeps. I'm just going to kill you. I'm going to kill you again.
I mean, it paid off. He's almost got the same XP as Legion Commander. I mean, Faith Beyond's now a little bit ahead of him because he moved into a neutral camp. And with level 6 available, they might look for a duel on Fly. There's the rock, follow-up duel, and it's easy damage for the LC. That's plus 10.
Yeah, it's a tower golem. It's really not even for the support kill, although it does secure him the damage, like you mentioned. They just want to try to pressure the tower in whatever way they can. Because they know, like, the pace of the game kind of needs to go quicker for them because they're playing against that Naga. Like, No Tail's been farming this whole time. He's got 2,000 gold on top of his Arcanes and his Infused Raindrops, so he's on pace what needs to be his highest CS in the game at the moment. So the more map control that Team Random can take away at this point in the game, the better it's going to be.
Looks like the tier 1 tower will indeed fall. Glyph's already been used, and OG will not mount a defense. No rotations come. So they get the target that they wanted, and a little extra money goes the way of Team Random. Glancing at the graph, holding on to that 1,500 net worth lead, but OG now pulling slightly ahead in terms of experience. That'll tend to happen when one team groups up to push down towers and the other one stays spread out to farm the map. Now smoke from OG. We'll see a haste in the bottle of Ana. Maybe a Vengeful Spirit here, the target. It could take a tumble. Potentially a 4-on-1.
He knows something's up.
Yeah, a lot of heroes missing off the map. Take a look at Radiant Vision, and yeah, all you see is the puck. You know something's going on. Good positioning here from the Venge. Not making this easy for him, but Ana with the haste rune pops it. They die behind the tower. Instant TPs coming out of the Radiant. They want to try to contest this. Dream Coil on 2. They will bring down the Venge, it looks like. TA still very healthy as Faith Beyond comes in. Nice stun from Jerax. Connects on 2 with the Boundless Strike, and Faith Beyond will just get right-clicked. It's 3 heroes down on the side of Random. The staggered TPs cost them big as OG take a convincing team fight.
It was a really nicely coordinated dive, to be honest. Like, they throw the orb in, it gives vision. They see no heroes besides the Venge, so they know they have the TP Shadow. Looks like he's going to be okay, just able to walk it off here in the middle lane. But, yeah, the dive was, like, perfectly executed. They got the coil on 2 heroes, the Static Storm was there as well. Forced one of the heroes to walk, like, too far over to the right to be able to help, and they, like, TP'd in a nice, like, pattern to where they wouldn't all get caught by the AoE spells, but the problem was Blink died before anyone really was able to do anything about it. And at that rate, with no golem either, that was like the go time. It was like, okay, no rock, they killed our tier 1, let's go kill some heroes.
Huge for S4, though. 1,700 gold now towards the Blink Dagger, and even after that slow start we were talking about, he's going to end up having a Blink at a pretty reasonable timing for an off-lane puck. And No Tail, again, farming away. 3,000 gold now towards the Relic. Still looking pretty good for this timing. Rotation.
I feel like
oh, okay.
I always see these games where, one team has a hero that invades the jungle, and one hero has a team that doesn't invade the jungle. And when that happens, like, the offlaners or the supports always suffer in S4.
Yep, swap. Nice stun. Connects on the Venge, but there's the Golem from Ice. And they will find the kill there, but Jerax drops the Monkey King ult. Wukong's command. Doesn't really connect on much, but they will find the Venge, Ensnare, and Boundless Strike. They should be able to chase him down. Meanwhile, on the other side, they did find a kill on Fly. TA jumps in, brings down Ice. We'll get a freebie on the Golem. Ends up kind of okay for OG. It's a 2 for 2, but they get the kill on that high-priced Vengeful Spirit. However, S4 dies at this delicate period where he has all that unreliable gold before the Blink, so both teams taking some losses, though OG do get the net worth gain out of it.
That was a huge win for OG, actually. Like, at face value, you're right. The net worth exchange was relatively equal, and it kind of stinks that S4's Blink is going to be delayed. But you have to keep in mind one thing. The Golem for Team Random needs to get objectives. When the Golem doesn't get a tower kill, it's pretty much a bad Golem at this stage in the game, especially if it's a tier 1. Because a tier 1 should technically be the easier towers to take because there isn't a Blink on the puck, and, there's no Radiance on the Naga, so there should be, like, the least contention for these tier 1 tower fights, and they're still trading evenly, dropping a rock, losing the rock, and then not actually getting the tower. Like, that is a really, really bad thing for Team Random. Not to say that, like, the game's over or anything like that, but it's just something that you should always keep in mind.
No, when you put it that way, it definitely seems a lot worse than I was first thinking. Glancing at the Warlock's queued up items here, very ambitious. He's going Midas, Aghanim's Refresher. So long road ahead for Ice. But he's getting pretty close to the Midas, actually. Only a few hundred gold away. Song of the Siren. No Tail sets it up. They do catch the Venge. They also catch the Warlock in the trees, and it looks like they want to do both. Static Storm, Kinetic Field on the Vengeful Spirit, and Ice just gets initiated on with straight right clicks. Jerax will find the kill there, but Finger of Death brings down the Naga Siren, and it ends up not being the clean fight that OG were hoping for. Stone Gaze from Shadow, trying to slow things down a little bit. They will catch the duel on Ana, but he is hasted up. Might still be able to run away. Ana actually lives through it, kills the LC, takes the bonus damage, and now they will get the follow-up kill on Venge. Somehow, some way, Draskell, this is going to end up a full team wipe. All 5 of Random hit the deck, and OG, sure, they lose their Naga, but a worthy sacrifice if you can pick up a full team wipe at 16 minutes.
Yeah, no Golem. I mean, that's...
Is that it?
OG
Just hashtag no Golem.
Hashtag no Golem. That's literally it. Like, they can just run at you in that fashion, and they can aggressively song. That's the big thing. They song to set up 2 kills. They immediately get the hero that was closest to the tower, then they also find the Warlock in the jungle, and they pretty much just drop everything on them straight away. And then at that point, you're already on the back foot, and since there's no disengage, in this case, Chaotic Offering, then you don't have any way of getting yourself back into the team fight. Faith Beyond dueled a refracted Templar Assassin. Like, that is a panic maneuver if I've ever seen one. Like, okay, maybe he thought they could get the kill. And I guess, you know, in a way, maybe they almost had enough damage. But, you know, once that happens and the rest of the side of OG is able to catch up, that fight's over. Like, sure, they killed No Tail, but he still got his relic. He's still only like 800 gold away from the Radiance. This timer that Naga Siren has, it's not about when the Radiance happens, it's when like the item after the Radiance happens that you really have to start to worry. Because at this stage in the game, yeah, you can still kill the illusions pretty easily. You know, you have that overwhelming odds. You got, you know, Mystic Snake still does a really good amount of damage, Lion as well. It's still some time left.
Still a little bit of time, but to be real, Andy, the TA is scarier than anything else right now. She just picked up a Desolator. Ana was, he actually had the Deso queued up first, but stopped off for the Blink Dagger. Now has both by 18 minutes, almost 10k net worth. About 50% ahead of the Vengeful Spirit, the leading farmer on the Radiant. I mean, right now, this TA is nasty.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy matchup. Like, not really much outside influence coming in from Team Random when it comes to the mid lane. So you got a TA against a hero that can't break refraction. He's gonna farm. He got ancient stacks from his team. He cleared both of them, again, without any interruption from Team Random. And they kind of just get hosed. So it's looking a little bit rough right now for the X-Wings team. But, you know, again, they do have the Dusa.
Very true. They've also got double Midas. One on the Venge, one on the Warlock. So they have some ability to scale into the late game. Double stack of Ancients getting cleared out by the Medusa. Looks like she'll be able to finish him off. But mid lane, Faith Beyond, absolutely obliterated. I mean, that's a Legion commander, too. It looked like he was just killing a lion. I mean, LC's not the tankiest hero, but my word.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Faith Beyond has not really had much of an influence in this game, and I don't really think it's his fault, per se. It's more just the Monkey King was the bane of his existence. Like, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted, followed him around, and sure, they pressured S4 too, but I guess for the lineup of Team Random, the offlane position is more integral to their success than what OG's is.
Yes.
So they can have S4 have a rough start, and he'll be able to make that comeback, because again, ease of execution, the puck can contribute much more reliably than a Legion. The Legion needs items.
Kong's command is almost a solo kill on Ice Ice. He survives, but that Warlock was at full HP. All right.
I think he was trying to force a Chaotic Offering. That would have been like the ultimate dream scenario. Even if he died, if he got golemed, it would have been worth it. But he's just going to get out of there.
Solar Crest on the way for Jerax, but yeah, to complement that point, as we talked about in the draft, you know, OG have so many ways to initiate fights or even counter-initiate fights on a number of different heroes. For Random, they have some options, but definitely a bit more reliant on Faith Beyond with that Blink duel. And for the LCs, at this point now, we're 20 minutes in. Sure, he's got the Blink Dagger, but, or she rather, so squishy. Blade Mail very far away. I mean, only has a Chainmail, 400 gold. Can't even get these cheap value items with the easy build-up.
I mean, the Blade Mail Blink is really all you need, as long as your team is there to back you up. That's going to be like the most important thing for Faith Beyond going into like the mid-late game, is can my team actually get me damage? Because right now, the only thing that's really going to quote-unquote secure a duel is Finger of Death. That's it. No one else really has the burst. So, you know, looking at Medusa's items, didn't go for the Midas, just like you mentioned earlier, went for the more fighty kind of style. And I think that's mostly attributed to the fact that they are kind of behind at the moment. And maybe he just feels like he needs to contribute more.
Yeah, I think triple Midas gets a little risky. He's in a very precarious situation, though. They're going to walk right past it. OG kind of fake him out. Meld from the TA.
They can, like, one-shot Y right now.
By. Yeah.
Oh, no, he placed his own ward. He spotted him. Oh, no, but he misses this stun.
Oh, but he gets the Hex. So they'll get a freebie on the Fly, it looks like. It's a 5-on-1. Let's see how much space Fly can make. Static Storm, Kinetic Field. Actually stays alive for a staggering amount of time as he drops the Glimpse. pretty legit survival, and
Yeah,
all
but
that
they're
was
losing Roshan because of this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Real space created. Well done by Fly. Valuable seconds.
God, that was like... It was actually better that his TP got cancelled, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the hero dies, then, you know, Team Random are looking back at it going, well, everyone's missing, and the TA is not here anymore. Wonder what they're doing. But, you know, in the time that it takes to realize that, unfortunately, with a Deso on a TA, they just managed to take the Roshan out from underneath them.
Yeah.
And now they're in even more of an awkward scenario.
There aren't that many like 1v5 scenarios like that where you can definitively say it's a good idea to just use your ultimate when you're guaranteed dead, but there, it's like the perfect hero. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, they're all locked in place in the trees. Brilliant. Solar Crest up on Jerax now, and OG moving into the biggest lead we've seen this game, though. Even though it feels like OG are really in control, Random are farming through this pretty well. I mean, 4,000 net worth at 22 minutes is definitely recoverable. One good team fight, and Random could be right back in this. So they are still getting a lot out of the map, and their cores are still scaling pretty well. Ana still happily seated at #1 on net worth, but you know, the gap isn't really growing. It's still around that 3K it was 5-10 minutes ago.
I think it's just attributed to the Midases, honestly. Like, I think there's no Midases on OG. The only one, the person who's making one is S4, and he's not there yet. Or I guess he just got enough gold for it right now. But the real issue, I think, again, is just the Naga factor. And while they do have some really good illusion clear, it's about maintaining map control, you know? Like, that's one of the most important things in Dota, is just being able to actually go to your lanes. Because look at No-Tail's micro right now. There are Naga illusions in every single lane. He cut the whole wave, restricts the map completely from Team Random. They're just looking around, 4 heroes or 5 heroes huddled under a tier 2 tower with like 10% life, and they're just going, what do we do? Like,
yeah.
we can't really push out. If the Naga Siren is on our side of the map, we're getting like asphyxiated almost. This is where it becomes very, very tricky.
Yeah, and you look at Radiant Vision, they do have some wards down around the map, but not really in locations that give them a lot of intel. You got one up here, the kind of top quadrant of the dire jungle, and then this lane ward down bottom, way down here. But all this space in the middle of the map, you know, where OG is farming, you know, maintaining map control, and Random have absolutely no idea, and they have to play in this kind of defensive posture. The worst thing they can do right now is split up and allow OG to pick them off, so they sort of pigeonholed into this less than efficient play, moving around as a big unit. There is a Manta style out on Shadow, so Medusa is definitely starting to come into her own. Also,
This
Shadow
build is a
Blade
little-
on the bench.
This build is a little lackluster though in the damage department. That's the one problem with it. Like, he's going Manta into Scotty, and sure, you're gonna be a beast. You're gonna be really hard to kill. But who at that point on your team, I guess you're just relying on Blink to do like most of the heavy lifting when it comes to damage,
Oh,
and then hoping.
Jerax, nice stun. Sorry.
Yeah, it was nicely done. But I guess it's just Blink and the Finger of Death and hoping that Fatal Bonds connects well. Like that's pretty much where the majority of their damage is going to come from. Blink, looking for something here.
Initiates onto the TA, but S4 ready and waiting. Dream Coil actually connects on 2. Locks Faith Beyond in place. Anna jumps forward, almost drops Faith Beyond. He's got a sliver of HP, but No Tail just burns him away. Now the Ensnare locks the Venge in place. Defensive swap, but now the Song of the Siren from No Tail. This is to kind of counteract the chaotic offering that has already come down. And it looks like Ice is going to get left behind. Ana able to 4-shot him at this stage. And with that, it will be a 3-0. And maybe even the Golem will go to EG for some extra, or OG rather, for some extra gold. And indeed it shall. They'll get the tier 2 to boot. That's the end of the outer towers. And speaking of map control, it is all OG here, Draskell. 16-8. They have broken this game wide open. Now about a 10K net worth lead.
There honestly hasn't really been too many moments in the game where I felt like, you know, Team Random had really brought any scare to OG at all. Like, okay, they drop a rock on Fly top to kill the tier 1. They drop a rock to go bottom, and the second rock in the bottom lane, it didn't get the tower. And then at that point, you're kind of just going, okay, well, already it's kind of becoming difficult for Ice. And Ana has played a phenomenal game. He's been everywhere he needs to be. He's getting the support pickoffs in the back every single time. He's pretty much making it an absolute nightmare for anyone on the side of Team Random who is, like, I guess not Blink or Shadow to be alive. He's just always in their face. Like, everybody on OG just seems to be playing just very, very crisp, solid Dota right now.
Absolutely. TA moving into the Bloodthorn. Of course, Orchid up first. But another great item. A lot of mobility now. Hurricane Pike and Blink Dagger. TA just in general still maintaining that massive farm. It's kind of a leg up on the game at large. LC does now have the Blade Mail, so that is one item TA will need to be careful of. You know, we've definitely seen big Blade Mail plays in the past, but Warlock slow and steady towards the Aghanims. I mean, the Midases are helping, no doubt about it. But is it going to be enough, Draskell? There's a Diffusal Blade now even up on the Monkey King. I mean, this support Monkey King is now starting to feel a little bit like a core almost. Up top, no tail, might get dueled. No! Song of the Siren comes out just in time. And he will slither away back to safety. The rest of OG did smoke up on the other side of the map. So maybe they can wrap around the backside, catch Random off guard. This is a weird dive. Lion going in really deep alongside Faith Beyond, but they're completely split. Now S4 comes in, he gets hexed up. They could still possibly turn this around, though. There's going to be another fight breaking out on the other side. Looks like Lion will get netted and probably bursted down. Let's check out the other side of it. Monkey King drops the ult, which drops the frames. They bring down the Venge right away, and Medusa channels the ultimate. Still Static Storm Kinetic Field comes down on top of the Wukong's command. Faith Beyond gets killed as well, and it is a bloody disaster here, Draskell. Random get ripped apart, splitting in that 2 and 3 pack. Did not go in their favor, and OG get a 4-for-0 exchange.
It's rough right now for Team Random, I think, is the only way I can describe this. Like, they didn't get the kill on Naga. Faith Beyond kind of bailed when the Lion was in there. Like, why went for a kill he fingered? I think the Naga walked out with like 10% HP. If he had stayed there, probably would have gotten the kill. Jerax just like casually by the enemy team as well. No big deal. But yeah, this is just Rax. That Medusa with, you know, Ultimate Orb Manta style Dragonlance and the Aquila, not tanky at all. Just literally exploded.
And also not that much damage. It feels like this build is just not doing enough of anything. Not really providing that much survivability, and also not providing her any kind of burst damage to catch people off guard. And that Stone Gaze right in the middle of the fight seemed like an alright Stone Gaze, but Fly was one step ahead with that Static Storm Kinetic Field, so she couldn't even really disengage once that defensive ult was used.
Yeah, it was like everything onto Blink, or excuse me, onto Shadow, and then he just kind of fell over. But it's like you said, the build is just not really doing any damage because he's relying on everyone else on his team to be damaged, and he wants to be the front line. He wants to be the focus of attention, and sometimes for a Medusa, that's okay. Because when everyone's going on you, then yeah, you get a lot out of your Stone Gaze because you have this, you know, Vengeful Spirit who's going to be dealing, what, like 50% bonus physical damage during the stun if for whatever reason OG don't start running away. So on paper, yeah, it sounds great. Then you got Fatal Bonds and like this overwhelming odds, and it seems like theoretically there's a lot of damage that can be dealt. The problem is that it requires very, very solid execution, and then, you know, the good initiation by Faith Beyond getting his Blink and his Blade Mail off in the duel. But it just hasn't happened. Like, they're just not able to get the proper fights. And a lot of that, again, attributed to vision. I mean, OG can see pretty much everything on, you know, Team Random side of the map, whereas they have some defensive wards down, sure, Team Random, but it's not really been able to stem the bleeding.
No doubt about it, buddy. Team Random completely locked in their base right now. I mean, just look at the dire wards for a moment. They've got one. I don't know if I've ever seen this one before, but right outside of the fountain, behind the tier 4s. Getting some vision into the base.
When you do that, because he got spotted out by the Lion, usually when someone does that, you just expect that they're buying from your shop. Right?
Yeah.
So you place the ward because there's no way they're going to expect you to do that. It's like, why would there be a ward there? But there is.
Yeah. Not a very common D-ward spot. Another smoke here from OG. Near the enemy shrine. They'll clear out the jungle. Take a look at dire vision. They do see a little bit. They've got something up on the plateau, so they get a glimpse of the Lion. Also a glimpse of the LC. It looks like they ping out the bottom lane, perhaps. An interesting smoke play from OG, maybe just baiting with Ana. Monkey King goes in, drops the Wukong's command. It'll be a little premature. It's a zoning command. Oh, but the Golem, he baits it out this time, and he's still able to jump away. Oh my,
this
Draskell.
is horrible. Oh my god, this is so
almost
bad.
worst case scenario. 3. Fly's going to set this up. Static Storm, Kinetic Field. It's going to come out on 3, and it connects. This is the setup that OG were waiting for, and they will find it. Immediately, Blink says, all right, it's over. Let's call it. GG, well played. They get a couple of kills to clean up that fight, but OG just, beautiful execution in that final team fight. The photo finish.
Dude, I think literally everyone on OG just played super well. Like, I can't think of any of their players that didn't do pretty much exactly what they needed to do. That's the crazy thing. Like, normally, one person has a rough game, and then maybe the 4 other players have a good game. But it actually felt to me